So the main topic of this video is mostly going to be about taxes. Chris Sununu made a comment that I don't exactly agree with. He criticized Massachusetts' millionaire's tax. And no, not because I'm a loyalist. Meanwhile, Ron DeSantis is hinting at his own taxes. Now, what's the right wing who calls taxation theft? What are they going to have to say? So far, they have said nothing. But this is a rare occasion of where I disagree with Governor Sununu in New Hampshire. So buckle up. This is going to be a good one. What's up, everybody? It's Zach The Celtics Guy here, back with another video. Hope everyone had a great Easter, and I will be streaming in a few hours, and I wanted to make this video and kind of tide you guys over with some information that's going on in the world, but particularly in my neighboring state, New Hampshire, a great state that is very well run, and Chris Sununu of New Hampshire is a rare Republican that I agree with probably over 90% of the time, maybe even upwards of 95% of the time. But, you know, he was good friends with Charlie Baker in Massachusetts, who I was also a massive fan of in this state. He really turned Massachusetts around, has done a lot of good. He worked with a lot of other governors in this area and beyond. He's done a lot of good. But Chris Sununu, on the other hand, said something with regards to the Massachusetts millionaire's tax that I don't exactly agree with. He said, and like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm not saying that Chris Sununu is wrong in saying this because he's criticizing Massachusetts and I'm this, Massachusetts loyalist. No, I've always said on this channel that overall, Mass is actually a very good state overall, at least for American standards, and again, that's setting the bar pretty low because American standards on global standards fucking sucks. But for American standards, this state is actually pretty well run. It's got its ups and downs. It's definitely got its cons, but mostly pros. But besides the point, this is what Chris Sununu said that I did not agree with. What the hell are you all thinking? Sununu asked Bay Staters in the crowd. Oh, and thank you, he added. I'm giving Maura Healey the Customer Service Award for New Hampshire because of the insanity that's going on in Massachusetts. As soon as the millionaire's tax passed, our phone is literally ringing off the hook. A lot of high net wealth individuals and big companies were saying, we're done, we're tapping out of here. And they wanted to come over to the tax-free suburb of Boston, which is called New Hampshire, and take advantage of everything we have to offer, which is great. Sununu praised former Governor Charlie Baker, who he credited with holding back the tidal wave of socialism for 8 years. It pains me to say that the great Chris Sununu, who I'm a big fan of, has made probably one of the dumbest statements I've ever heard in my life. And like I said, no, this is not because he's criticizing something going on in Massachusetts. No. It's the fact that he's okay with millionaires not paying taxes. That's basically what he's saying. And he basically is like, oh, I'll take advantage of this. I'll let them come over here. I'll let them come over to my state, and that they can come here and pay no taxes and whatnot. Now, see, Chris Sununu's record on economics, on economic development in New Hampshire has been phenomenal. I am not denying that for a second. New Hampshire is a beautiful state, very well run. Chris Sununu he's a very smart guy and a very efficient leader. But this is stupid. You're going to say that this is insanity? To say that the rich should pay their fucking taxes and to fucking tax them, which actually them paying more is actually going to help Massachusetts in the long run. Because if anything, that's going to go more towards infrastructure and is going to go more towards other things that, we kind of need and all that other type of stuff. Now, okay, I am for lowering certain taxes, yes. But you know who else is as well? Maura Healey is as well. Maura Healey is the one that was pushing out tax cuts for low-income families. She pushed that out the door. And I received my state tax returns, which were $200 and something more than they were last year. That was something that Charlie Baker was pushing out. And obviously because he didn't seek another term, Maura Healey went to run, and she ran, and she steamrolled her opponent, Jeff Deal, who was a fucking MAGA freak. Even though I agreed with certain things that he said, no, his approach was, I did not like him. And I didn't vote for either Maura Healey or Jeff Deal. But if I could go back, I probably would have voted for Maura Healey. I really would have voted for Chris Doughty, which was like a Charlie Baker or Chris Sununu style figure. I actually would have voted for him. Actually, generally speaking, I probably would have voted for him because I've been so fed up with the Democrats lately. You all know my stances on Biden, guys. I think it's pretty obvious. I hate Biden. I hate the status of the Democrats today. I do. So that's why I was skeptical about Maura Healey in the beginning. But like I said, I'm mildly positive of her. I'm giving her a chance. I think she's done some good things. I don't agree with her on her opinion on teacher unions. I don't agree with her on her endorsement of Biden, for example. But yeah, no, this is silly. This was a question for the voters. You know who voted for the millionaire's tax in Massachusetts? Me. I voted for it. It's like, what the hell were you all thinking? Chris Sununu asked. Okay, well, what the hell was I thinking? Well, what I was thinking was, oh my God, a millionaire's tax. That's something I've been advocating for years because, guys, I've always been a leftist. I've always been on the left. I've been kind of up and down in terms of how, far out on the left side that I have been and whatnot. But I'm definitely further left now as opposed to how I've been in the last year. So, yeah, definitely. No, I voted for it. I didn't vote for either one, but I voted. I voted for the millionaire's tax. I did, because that's something I support. Because I'm a socialist and I believe in taxing the fucking rich. I believe in that because so many rich people in this country that hold such a disproportionate amount of wealth do not pay their fair share of taxes. They pay fucking so little in taxes, it's unbelievable. While the other average person is getting fucking screwed. So no, progressive tax reform that Maura Healey has put out there makes perfect sense. And the millionaire's tax also makes perfect sense. Lower taxes for low-income families, getting back more money that is going to help working class families and working class people like me and like Stephen and so forth and others in this state and beyond. So yeah, something like that is going to help. And the millionaire's tax, like I said, I voted for it for good, and I voted for it for my own reason, and it passed, and it's there. So no, this is a silly criticism. I mean, there's a lot of things. Like, there's a lot of things that you could say. There's a lot of criticisms that you could say. But Governor Sununu actually endorsed Chris Doughty. He didn't vote for Jeff Deal. He obviously didn't vote for him. He didn't back Jeff Deal. He did not back Jeff Deal because he knew Jeff Deal was going to lose to Maura Healey. Maura Healey steamrolled Chris Doughty. Maura Healey steamrolled Jeff Deal because people are tired of the Trump-backed candidates. That's the reason behind it. Maura Healey won not because not because people think she's this golden, shining progressive and she's this wonderful person that does all these great ideas. She does have a lot of good ideas, and I think she's been a pretty good leader so far, but like I said, we'll see. It was because people were enthusiastic to vote for her because they wanted to vote against Jeff Deal because people are tired of the fucking Trumpism and so forth. That's the reason. That's the reason why Maura Healey steamrolled Jeff Deal, because people are tired of fucking Trump-tard candidates. People in moderate places are sick and tired of it. They are sick and tired of They are sick and tired. They are sick and tired of these fucking candidates. Just like in Maryland, where Larry Hogan, who I was actually a massive fan of as well. I was actually a big fan of him, by the way. But obviously he wasn't up for a third term. But the reason that he actually lost in the Maryland gubernatorial election. He lost because he was a Trump candidate. And just like what happened here in Massachusetts, guess what happened? The Democrat won. The Democrat won by a landslide. The Democrat in Maryland for governor won by a landslide. The Democrat Governor Wes Moore won in a landslide against Dan Cox because people are sick and tired of fucking Trump-backed candidates. Every single time Trump backs someone, 9 times out of 10, they end up fucking losing. Unless it's fucking DeSantis in Florida, which Ron DeSantis, you know, being the fucking authoritarian, fascist, and tyrant that he is, what does he end up doing? He ends up doing the most hypocritical thing for his Republican base than possible. He's now eyeing hotel taxes and road tolls. Hey, I thought Republicans were against tax increases. So now DeSantis is going to do taxes. Oh, he's doing taxes against big business. So where's the outrage from the Republicans? Where is the outrage from the right wing? Where's the outrage from them? I'd love to know. Where's the outrage from him? And especially the fact that where's the outrage from the party of limited government? Now, again, I'm not criticizing them because I'm Democrat. Obviously not. I'm further left of the Democrats, guys. I think that's pretty obvious. But this is so hypocritical because it's like DeSantis is abusing his authority by being a fucking tyrant. He's being a fucking tyrant, and he is putting taxes on big businesses. Could you imagine if Joe Biden did that? Could you imagine the outrage? Now, again, if Joe Biden did something like that, I would be so against it because he would just be doing it because he's fucking corporate. That's the problem, because Biden would do something like that. If it came to taxing his political enemies, Biden would do it 100%. Biden would be taxing his political enemies, just like DeSantis. DeSantis is a MAGA fascist, and he's taxing his political opponents. Disney is his political opponent. Now, again, I don't like the way Disney has been run for the last several years. I think it's gone way too fucking out there. They haven't been making good content recently. But DeSantis doing this with Disney is fucking ridiculous. It's just another way for his fucking culture war bullshit, which is really getting ridiculous. This is why I'm getting fed up with people like Tulsi Gabbard who do nothing but fucking, about the culture war. We have to stop this culture war. Fucking Kim Reynolds in Iowa, another wishy-washy MAGA fascist who puts her foot in her mouth at every given opportunity, and then Ron DeSantis, who is a complete bigot, a fascist, a tyrant, and a warmonger. And people like that are going to lose in different places. That's why Jeff Deal lost. That's why Dan Cox lost in moderate Democrat states like Maryland and Massachusetts, because people are tired of the MAGA fascism. Because people are fucking tired of it. Now, I don't think Biden is any less of a fascist, because Biden is definitely a fucking fascist. But DeSantis is also a fascist. You know who else is a fascist? And people need to stop ignoring the fact that Jeff Deal is as well, and the fact that Dan Cox is as well. I mean, the fact that all of these people are going to cause the Democratic majority, like in places like Maryland and Massachusetts, to pour out in droves just to vote the MAGA side down. Because it will ensure Maura Healey's election. It ensured her re-election. Chris Doughty stood a better chance. If Charlie Baker ran again for a third term, which he actually could have, because I don't think there's term limits on governors in this state, but generally speaking, they usually step down after 2. That's usually been the tradition. But for something like this, no. But overall, I like Chris Sununu a lot. I'm a big fan of him. It's rare for me to be a fan of anybody, any elected official, because like I said, I'm not praising them. That doesn't make them more on my side, because obviously I'm way further left than these people are. I hold much more radical left-wing positions. I mean, hence my advocation for socialist revolutions and a Sandinista revolution and so forth. But when it comes to someone corporate like Biden, or someone like a fucking MAGA neo-fascist, no, like someone like that, they can't win. So when it comes to a moderate, business-friendly Republican, like Larry Hogan, Charlie Baker, or Chris Sununu, they have turned around their economics, and they have turned around economic development in their states, just like Charlie Baker did here in Massachusetts. That's why he won twice in a landslide. That's why he defeated Jay Gonzalez in 2018. I voted for Charlie Baker twice. Charlie Baker was the first elected official that I ever voted for because he's a moderate, he's an LGBT ally. I've been a fan of him for a long time. He's a very good guy. My friend in New Hampshire, Seacoast right now, he actually met Charlie Baker in person at the Worcester Pride event in 2017. Very good guy. Chris Sununu is also a very good guy as well. He's done a lot of good for New Hampshire, and I'm a big fan of New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a great state. I also think Massachusetts is also a great state as well. But in terms of this, especially for American standards, but for something like this, you know, Chris Sununu is a great guy. I agree with him on most issues, but this criticism is a little silly. Actually, it's very silly because he thinks that, like, oh, Maura Healey won over this socialism and whatnot. No, that's not true. Maura Healey won because people were tired of the Trump-backed candidates. You cannot put up an extreme MAGA person up against a liberal like Maura Healey. They can't win. If you want to defeat Maura Healey, you need either a moderate business-friendly guy like Chris Sununu or Charlie Baker, or you need an innovator who's the same thing like Chris Doughty, who'd be capable of stealing the Democrat voting bloc, which someone I would have voted for. Or you need, I would argue, for a socialist candidate or Green Party candidate, because that's more in my favor. That's way more in my favor. But to defeat someone like that, you need someone like Charlie Baker or Chris Sununu or Larry Hogan or Chris Doughty or someone like that who's capable of stealing the left-wing voting bloc. You cannot put a MAGA person up against a liberal. They're not going to win. You can put them forward. They're not going to win. There is, like, seriously, it's just never going to fucking happen. Like, there is an ice block's chance on the sun of seeing that there is an ice block on the sun's chance of ever seeing Governor Jeff Deal or Governor Dan Cox. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So as far as someone like this, Chris Sununu is a good guy. I agree with him on most issues, but this is a silly criticism. I don't agree with it. I voted for the millionaire's tax, and I think it's a good idea. I voted for it because I'm a socialist. I hold some pretty radical left-wing positions. As you can see, at least I'm honest. You know, I'm honest about what I believe in. I'm honest about what I believe in, and I stand up for what I believe in. Whether you agree or disagree is perfectly okay. It's perfectly okay. But I'm going to be honest about what I believe in. And when I have a criticism of someone, I'm going to come out and say it, which is exactly what I did right here, right now. So no, overall, Maura Healey's doing pretty good. I don't agree with that either. But no, Maura Healey, so far, she's doing okay. I definitely have my disagreements with her too. But for a Democrat in this climate, I think she's doing pretty all right. But we'll see what happens. If she does a good job and she's up for re-election again, I will definitely vote for her. But we will see. We will see what happens in the future. Too early to tell. But as far as Chris Sununu's comment on the millionaire's tax, I don't agree. The other thing that he also said, he actually went off to criticize California. But the funny thing is about that, notice how his criticism of California is way more sharp than it was about Massachusetts. He was just like, oh my God, the millionaire's tax. What the hell are you guys thinking? Blah, 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 you know, whatever. But then he goes to criticize them for saying, remember when Democrats were the party that cared about the people that were the best on social issues? You walk down the streets of San Francisco or Los Angeles, the tent cities, the homelessness, the absolute uncontrolled and underdealt with mental health and drug issues, needles everywhere. It's disgusting. It's a humanitarian mess. You can't blame a single Republican in deep blue California. He does have some valid points on that. He does have some valid points on that because the Democrats in California haven't done anything to help people in California. They haven't done shit. California is horrible. It's easily turned into one of the worst places in the entire country. But why is Chris Sununu so mild in his criticism of Massachusetts, but yet he's much more sharp in his criticism of California? Is it because Massachusetts is obviously more moderate than California? Is that why? I mean, maybe he thinks that in the back of his head. I'm not too sure. But he does have a point. Well, not only that, we're seeing tent cities and homelessness popping up everywhere. We're even seeing it. I mean, have you been to Manchester, New Hampshire lately? Have you been there lately? There's definitely tent cities there too. I mean, there's tent cities in Boston too. There's fucking tent cities popping up in Florida. There's tent cities popping up everywhere. because neither party is doing anything to help the matters. Now, when you got innovators like Chris Sununu, who has turned New Hampshire into one of the best states economically, Charlie Baker has also done the same thing. He's been a great governor. He's really turned the state around. But we still need work. But a place like California, no. New Hampshire and Massachusetts are definitely bucking the trend. And I would argue that a lot of New England is too. Except for Connecticut, which I would say is the California of New England. Some people say it's Massachusetts. I disagree. Massachusetts is way more moderate. Sure, we've got some progressive ways of doing things like the millionaire's tax and whatnot and a bunch of other different things, but that's besides the point. But overall, Massachusetts, we're a Democrat state. And for an American state in general, it's good for Democrat standards, and it's even better for American standards. So that's pretty much that. So no, I disagree with Chris Sununu on the criticism of the millionaire's tax. But on the other issues, he was right. He was pretty much right on the other things. But anyway, that's besides the point on that. And Ron DeSantis, I fucking despise, and he can go fuck himself. Florida, I actually love. I have a soft spot for Florida. I love the climate, love the vibe. But Ron DeSantis and some of the other neocons that are running things there, no, not a fan. But Florida as a state is pretty dope. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you all tonight at around 7. Look out for it. We got lots of topics to discuss. Mike Papantonio and Matt Taibbi. We've got other topics to discuss as well. Look out for it. This is Zach the Celtics Guy saying thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. And like I said, Chris Sununu, great guy. I definitely like him a lot, but I don't agree with his position. I support the millionaire's tax here in Massachusetts. I support it, and I wish Maura Healey the best, and I hope she continues to do a good job along with Kim Driscoll, who was a great mayor of Salem, and I hope she does even better as a lieutenant governor. Chris Sununu was also awesome, too. New Hampshire, rock on. You're a great state as well. Love you guys up there as well. Love all of you up there, especially Weeks Woods and the great wooded areas there. Love New Hampshire in general and all that. Thank you all for watching. See you all in the next one. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, stay classy, and keep fighting, and keep on rocking. Till next time, so long and peace out.